forward? How do we go forward? No, she don't want to go forward at all. Okay. The right arm is broken. Probably if I move up some. Okay. So now I have control of her finger and her arm. Like so. Let's break it. Let's break her. Eh! 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 I can do it! I feel like an infant fucking child.
Hey, what's up, Void Lords and Masters of the Universe? Welcome to the Void Form MMORPG virtual reality experiment. This is episode 3. If you haven't been following along, try to go back and check out the other 2 episodes, but episode 3 is all about, okay, I studied VR, I researched it, then I tried it. I borrowed a VR headset in episode 2. I was like a VR virgin. And I did all of this so that I want to implement VR into my game that I'm making, Heart of the Infinite Void. And it's purely for fun. I'm going to see how far the game goes. I'm going to see how far the project goes. And I kind of don't care about what happens, but I have a feeling this can go pretty far. It's going really well so far. I just started the game in 2021 in January. So in episode 3, I'm really starting to get my paws into VR and kind of really getting a sense for it in an MMORPG context. Because I used to play WoW, I was a WoW player, and I'm only going to play an MMORPG. I really love Final Fantasy. I recommend it to people that don't want to play WoW anymore. But for me, I wasn't feeling that path for myself. I'm looking for something more innovative. I mean, Final Fantasy did a really nice job at making a WoW alternative. But if I'm going to reinvest for another decade or two, like, I mean, I invested into WoW for like 12 years. I kind of can't reinvest into Final Fantasy the same way I did with WoW, and I think that has a lot to do with, well, this is like a game format that's been around for 15 plus years, so it's hard for me to, even though that's the game that I love, the type of game that I love to play, I'm really hesitant. So instead I'm investing into my little project here, both my game and the virtual reality project, just to see what can happen with it. Unreal Engine, I think, is very innovative, and suggest you might want to research it. I think that they're going to be groundbreaking, and it's not going to be about who's going to make the next big hit, who's going to make, you know, the next Fortnite or the next WoW killer or whatever. I think Unreal Engine is going to pave the way for the metaverse, and the metaverse is going to be more like, think Ready Player One, but not as cheesy as that movie. Like, but it's gonna be that concept though. And the way I view it is, what YouTube did to cable television, and I'm making it obsolete with each generation. Who watches TV anymore? Anyone? Boomers, I guess. I haven't watched TV in probably like 10 years. So what YouTube did to cable companies, and the little guys can make content, and that's what we all want to watch, that's going to happen with video games. I really am feeling this. And I think things like Unreal Engine, Blender being free, Unreal Engine's free, there's a bunch of other ones out there, they're not the only ones by any stretch, but they're going to be like the YouTube for gaming, and the future is content creators like, I guess like me, but I don't even want to put myself on a pedestal here. But it's a good place to invest time. That's why I'm putting my time into this. Because we're starting to see things change. It's starting to happen. I finally picked a VR headset. After doing all the research, I was looking at the HP Reverb as an alternative to the Rift S. The Rift S was the #1 recommended headset for Unreal Engine in particular. But the Rift S is no longer being produced or supported by Oculus. So when I looked at the Quest 2, the Quest 2 was not a wasn't even listed in the top 3, first of all. And I'm like, well, is this supposed to replace the Rift S then? If they're going to obsolete the Rift S so fast? But the Quest 2 is a standalone headset. And it then offered like a link cable to hook up as like an afterthought. And I'm like, well, you're not going to... It's still kind of the way it's processing through the headset. It's not as good as what the Rift S was. So I didn't think that it was a thing. That I would just, because the Rift S was no longer a thing, it would have to be the second best choice, which was the HP Reverb. But if you look at my episode 1, the Reverb made me, I wasn't too excited about it. Like, wasn't digging how it's reviewing and how it feels, even though it's like a really good headset. It felt like a downgrade over what the Rift S was. Anyway, I digress. I'm kind of rambling here, but ultimately I went with the Quest 2, surprisingly, for a couple of reasons. So the Quest 2, I'm gonna tell you straight up, here we go. It's very petite, it's lightweight, it has cloth straps so it doesn't feel like your head is in a vice. I really liked the idea of that. And it's white, so it matches my Sennheisers. Okay, no, I mean, that was a bonus, sure, but I looked at the Oculus Link, which is basically good enough. Like, for all the benefits that it's offering, it was very comparable to the Rift S, and I decided to just go with the Quest 2. Since doing that, I'm so far really happy with that decision. There was another very, very big reason. I mean, the color was cool to match my headset, but the biggest reason for me was I've already had at least 2 people tell me, hey, I would love to play your game one day in a Quest 2 they already owned, or thinking about somebody that didn't already have one. He's like, I'll literally go buy one. He's like, if this project goes well and it looks fun, he's like, I'll go out and buy a VR just to play, you know, your demo. And I'm like, that's cool as fuck. So the thing about the Quest 2, this is $300 with the controllers. You can get into VR for $300, not $600, not $800 or higher. $299. Okay? And it is a standalone headset. It offers games right out of the box. So it's sort of like buying an Xbox or a PlayStation, but you get a bunch of access to all these other cool games. Then it offers the Link and gives you access to all the PC games. So this here felt like really the best overall product with the big picture in mind, and thinking about accessibility and what more people are going to be likely to want to buy. It's like a safe, best overall VR headset in my opinion. So far I feel much better about this purchase. I did try an HP Reverb a little bit, and talked to someone that bought one. This was definitely the play. Overall, like, for sure. Now, is the HP Reverb slightly better refresh rate and maybe even resolution? Slightly. The thing about that is, chances are your rig, if you do a link to your PC, you probably can't even push that resolution anyway. So it's sort of like buying a 4K monitor and trying to run it with like a GTX 480 from like 15 years ago. I was like, So anyway, I digress here, but really happy with this so far. I will keep everyone updated if my opinion changes. Quick interjection about the Quest 2. There is one disappointment that I had with the Quest 2. And I'm going to mention this a little lightly, and I'm going to not rant about it, even if I kind of want to. Fill in the blanks here. Oculus currently is owned by Facebook. That might change in the future because Facebook's being sued for monopoly. Go look it up. It's evil stuff, okay? And the Quest 2 is, as it was tied with Facebook, you pretty much have to use the Oculus link, and I think even just to hook up an account with Oculus to use the headset, you need a Facebook account. I don't have a Facebook account, but I was forced into one. And like, sure, I can kind of fake it, but they have policies, you're supposed to use your real name, so I'm technically breaking their terms of service, and ultimately I needed to link a recovery, which is eventually going to tie it to me as a human being in real life. So they basically know, they can track, because I did this, they can track who I am and knock on my door if they want. So that to me was a breach of privacy for no reason, and that's Facebook bullshit, and I really just avoided it. And I really didn't like being forced into that. So the one downside of the Quest 2 is, if you don't already have a Facebook account, it's a huge downside in my opinion. But most people already have been roped into Facebook and already have a Facebook account, so that you already sold your soul to Facebook. So again, a huge downside. Hopefully their practice there improves in the future when they probably break off of Facebook and become their own company or else. Maybe they can start being more responsible with how they're treating, but it was unavoidable, and I really didn't like that. So, back to the rest of my video. But again, the lightweight, the cloth straps, it feels comfortable, it feels nice on your face. I'm not that big. I have a small little head, I'm a little girl. Well, I'm not smaller compared to like big dudes, right? That was important to me. I can't feel like I got bricks on my head. So far it feels really nice. I just wanted to share the final decision on hardware here. As I develop my game, I'm going to make it compatible for the HP Reverb, and then eventually some other sets. It won't be hard to add on the other ones later. So the next thing, I had to go into my game, which was not yet VR compatible, and slowly crawl a VR implementation into a game that basically is a PC game, a functional PC demo right now. I have a demo, by the way, a playable demo of the PC version, not getting into the VR functionality yet on the demo, and it is available to play if anyone wanted to experiment a very raw demo. It's fun, like you can fight a boss. Gatekeeper was the one that I just did, so if you want to play that boss for fun, if you miss Void Form and you just want to kick, whatever your reasons, you can join my project Discord, and all you have to do is message me and say, hey, I want to try the demo. I'll give you a special link for it, and it's really like painless. So I wanted to let you guys know that there is a demo to play. When the VR project has playable content, I will update the demo to be VR compatible for those people that already happen to have, you know, like a Quest 2 or another headset. And if it's not an HP Reverb and you want me to make it compatible in the future demo, tell me what it is and I'll prioritize it. But anyway, I digress. So again, project Discord's in the description, or any of my home pages on my channels. So the next thing, I've had to load into my game and just get roles working for my character, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. First I loaded in and I didn't have possession of my character. It was just like in the editor itself, and I could see the world in VR. That alone blew my mind, and I'm gonna put some clips after, just to show you what that's like here. VR is another animal, guys. If you have not tried VR, you need to. and games for them, more and more developers are going to be making VR games and expanding on their functionality and controls. Right now, I have these controllers here. You know, they're really, you can do all kinds of motion with them, as sensitive to build controls around. I'm interested to get super deep into that, but they're pretty simple, you know. I'm gonna probably look into gloves, because in my brain, I would love to be able to do spellcasting with finger gestures, but for now, I'm gonna build everything around basic controllers, and you can still get overall hand motions with these, so I'm really looking forward to getting to that point. But this week, I'm just gonna share my viewing the Heart of the Infinite Void world for the first time, and how mind-blowing it was, and intimidating, and it actually is scary. That happened to me too in the game I tried. The hell was it? The flying game. It had NPCs that creeped me out. Like, VR is a lot easier to get in your head, and it's so immersive that you're just like, whoa, you know. So Heart of the Infinite Void didn't have any creepy NPCs to get scared about, but the feel of the world is definitely makes you a little queasy, especially when you think you're gonna fall into the void off the edge of the platform, and across this monstrous planet that you're just dwarfed next to. It's the other thing that came up this week is my original theory for virtual reality for an MMORPG. I'm like, you know, I think it still needed to be third person, and I have seen VR games do this, so I'm like, yeah, we can do a third person VR, no problem, for an MMO, because like, we're used to seeing our characters, we're also used to a certain perspective, and you know, as players, especially players like me, we're creatures of habit. We've been playing WoW for like 15 years, you know. Or other MMORPG players are playing in a similar thing, like Final Fantasy is set up the same way. Rift was set up the same way. I haven't played Guild Wars, but pretty much any MMORPG is going to have that same camera style, third-person feel. With VR, I figured, okay, it's going to be similar, and we can do that. That was my preference, because you want to see your gear, right? You want to see your spell casting animations and tentacles coming out of your back and shit, right? When I was in the game so far, and just so far, it kind of, especially this week, I felt like I needed to be at least on the floor, as if I'm following my character, okay? And if you're basically like following a friend, but you have control of them, I thought that's kind of how it would work. But if you're already on the floor, you're already losing that camera view that we're used to. Just going down a little bit alone is already changing the feel. And I'm like, well, at that point, I'm like, it feels like it should just be first person. And I'm surprised at myself because I heavily like third person in a big way. I absolutely despise first person games on PC or console, unless they're like a racing game, I guess. Even racing games like to see my car, so I can see, you know, the ass end of the car out. Anyway, I digress. So I'm not a fan of first person in general, but I'm gonna do first person first in my game, because I actually feel like it's gonna be the most fun experience, and I do think it's gonna be amazing. I think I can deal with the little things that we'll need to adjust to as creatures of habit will be easier, I think, than trying to figure out how to make you feel okay with flying above your character like a bird. You're gonna probably get motion sickness. I didn't experience that, but I could see how it could be a thing, and I'm hearing that it's a thing. So third person automatically is gonna be on the ground, and I'm like, well, if you're gonna make that sacrifice, you might as well go all the way. Anyway, so I really surprised myself at that analysis, or that conclusion, or updated hypothesis on how I think this is gonna go. What I'm probably gonna do is I'm changing my plans. Instead of doing third person first and then first person to compare, I'm gonna flip them because I think first person is gonna be the successful one. So I'm gonna do first person, see how maximize it to its potential, and then adapt it into third person because then it's minor changes from there. So just thought I would share that. I was super surprised at that, and more importantly, that I think this experience that I'm about to make in this demo, next VR experiment demo, is going to be more fucking fun than anything we've been playing for the past 10-15 years. This is the future of gaming. I have zero question about it. In my mind, it's how do we grab everything we liked about the past and bring it forward with us and then evolve it in like this new space. It's sort of like we gotta let go of the VHS and cassette tapes and move on to MP3s kind of feeling. Like, it almost feels like that to me, and it almost feels like I almost don't even hesitate to say this is gonna be a major upgrade in gaming over the next year or two, especially in the next 5. So again, I really want to see how much nostalgia and stuff that we have loved for 15 years can we take forward as MMORPG fans. So let's see how it goes, and I know I've rambled enough, so I'll share the footage that I got with you, and hopefully you enjoy the video. And I'll see you again in episode 4. Later.
Alright, we need to work on this. Oh wow, we're over at the fucking archway? This arch... Hold on. Her hand is still fucked. This archway here. This thing. Okay. She's... Oh god, we have a long way to go. Oh, I died. We're falling. I think. Are we falling? No? No, we're just in the fog. Her strafing animation doesn't understand VR yet. It's getting there though. I can somewhat feel her arm is accurate. It's getting there. It's getting there. I just like the running. I haven't triggered the ads yet. Oh, we're about to. Oh, we just did. We're spawning ads now. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I don't have combat controls. Holy shit. Look at the ad. We need to tab to it. Tab to that. I don't have tab. If we point at it. Look at my right arm. Oh, it's so... What is going on with her right arm? I have 2 ads now. One's hitting me from behind. Oh. Oh no. Yes. Dude, her strafing animation's probably fucking this up too. I am going to die soon. I can't see my health. Can I see my health bar if I turn it off? No. Help me. I am going to die. This looks really good. Dude, we're gonna see her death animation. Oh, we died. We're dead. Her arm can still move though. Hello. I am going to resurrect myself. And none of these operations work correctly. Ah! I'm dead. I'm dead. We have so much work to do with this. Holy shit. Oh, this perspective is actually cool. Oh, is this what the spirit world is like? Where you see your out-of-body experience and you see strange things in the world and you're like, this is what a spirit looks like, I guess. Dude. A lot of work to do.
Alright, so I've been trying to take some extra time here and put the motion controllers in the game. And right now I have selected her wrist, and that represents the location of the controllers. Ignore the rotation of her hand right now. In the way that I'm doing this, it's not going to do the rotation. But what I'm working on is getting her arm, that when we move the controller in the world space, that it automatically animates her arm and her elbow. And I'm trying to get that to feel more like natural. And it's getting a lot better than it was. She was doing some very weird shit on my first attempts. If you see this little dot over here, this represents what angle, like as I move her wrist, is the desired location of the controller. What angle should her elbow point to so that you get a natural, movement of her arm, so it can basically fill in the blanks in between. So we can still go across her body here. I don't know if I can maybe get it, point the elbow maybe a little bit more up and out. So let's try that. So I'm going to change, let's go up some. That would be Z, which is the blue line. So like this blue line. So right now I'm at a 45. So let's go a little bit taller. We'll go 65. And you can see her elbow moved up just a little bit. So as we go in, it's taking longer for her to do something impossible. That would be the green line, which is our Y. And I'll try doing that at, say, -80. So they'll move a lot further away. So let's try that. So now when I move her hand in front of her boob, it takes much longer for it to clip into her body. So that's kind of what we're looking for with some of this fine-tuning. But we're overriding this and the arm with the VR controls. And so dialing this stuff in is going to take a really long time to make a convincing, experience. But this is kind of where I'm at and what I'm spending my time doing right now. And it's getting there. So the next step I'm going to do is if you look at her right arm, it's completely, looks like she's having a stroke over there. So I'll inverse these values to her, to mirror them on the other side, once I'm happy with the performance. And I think it's generally pretty good right now. It can always be better, but I think I'm going to go with this for now and then start working on the rotation of her hand, would be next. And hopefully I can get at least her animations working convincingly after her hands, her arms, and also her head should be able to look up, down, left, and right as the player does. That way, if you can look in the mirror and see yourself animating to what you're actually doing in the VR headset, and when there's multiplayers in the game, they'll actually see your movements. I mean, that's just how it should work. And figuring out that perfect blend between her animations and you controlling her instead of her animations, and where to blend them out and when to override them and stuff like that. So this is really cool stuff, but it's definitely time consuming. And see what we do next, right? See you in like a month, I think.
Go ahead and do it again. Move closer to me. Ah! Here's my sparkles. Anyway, I'll get good at this. This is super bright when it's next to me. Holy shit! I can dive into the fuzzies. They're not fuzzies, they're sparklies. Oh my god, that's actually really cool.
If this fucking works, I'm gonna be stoked. I have them in the wrong hands. I have them backwards. Alright? Oh my god, it works!